Let's discuss the topic of persuasion. Persuasion is a process by which a message induces or influences change in beliefs, attitudes, or behaviors. Its goal is to achieve compliance, which is the changes of behavior that are elicited by a direct request. If you are a little confused, don't worry, I will explain. I am here to give you the key to the 3 sequential request strategies. In other words, the 3 compliance techniques of persuasion. Now, are you ready? Now, there's no need for you to take any notes. I will explain with true events that relate to us all. Now, let's get started. The first technique is called the foot in the door phenomenon. It occurs when you agree to perform a simple task, then proceed with a more difficult task. Let's say that there's a big sale at your favorite store. As soon as you walk through the mall, you're stopped by a woman who asks you a simple question. Are you a kind and generous person, or do you care about the environment? Consequently, after asking one question, she proceeds to ask several other questions, and 20 minutes have passed, and you're still willing to answer a survey. Why do we do this? Because after answering the first question, our mind feels obligated to answer more. We do this to avoid inconsistency with our beliefs. Think of it this way. It's like our mind has a surveillance camera that continuously watches us to ensure that our beliefs are consistent with our behaviors. This is called cognitive dissonance. The foot in the door phenomenon thrives off of this. Since you agreed that you're a kind and helpful person, you now feel the need to be kind and helpful, even if it takes. Next is the door in the face technique, or the DITF for short. This occurs when someone rejects a large request and accepts the counteroffer of a more reasonable request. Let's say you wanted to go partying out tonight until 1 a.m. However, your father will not be easily convinced. So you first ask to stay out till 4. After a series of arguments, you offer to stay out until 1. Your father thinks this is reasonable compared to 4 a.m., so he approves and complies with your suggestion. Clever, isn't it? This is the door in the face technique. The final strategy is called the low ball technique. After you agree to an initial request, you will often still comply when the request ups the ante. Let's say you're looking to buy a car, and the car salesman gives you an amazing price. Although you're skeptical, you decide that you're fully ready to take it. And with this big step, you shake his hand and head to the office to fill out some paperwork. But after reading the fine print, you realize there's more, and suddenly your mind takes off. Now you find that you have to pay for heat, new tires, the broken radio, the badly jammed seatbelt, the steering wheel, and the emergency brakes. And now you end up with something you really did not ask for. But why do we still buy the car? Look closely. By shaking his hand, our body unconsciously made a commitment to purchasing the vehicle. To avoid dissonance, you continue to purchase the now very expensive car. And that, my friends, is the lowball technique. Now that we've covered them all, let's do a quick review of the 3 sequential request strategies. We first looked at the foot in the door phenomenon. The foot in the door is when you're most likely to agree to a big request after first complying to a small request. This is where we are introduced to cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance allows us to comply to avoid inconsistency with our beliefs. Second was door in the face technique. This occurs when you're gaining compliance to a small request by first asking for a large unreasonable request, like telling your father you want to go out at 4 when really you wanted to party out till 1. The final technique was the lowball technique. This is offering something that seems reasonable, then changing the offer after commitment. Just like the car salesman and the crazy car you now have to pay another $1,000 for. Although we are aware of these sequential strategies, we are all bound to fall prey for them. It's just how our brain works. And from something little like filling out a survey to buying a car, we learn that commitment can be a very powerful and motivating force. Now you can try these 3 sequential request strategies, apply them to your everyday interactions, and see how they affect the behavior of others. And then try it on your friends. I mean, hey, they aren't psychologists. What do they know?